Good morning. This is Trudy Howard from Howard Tax Prep LLC. We are located in the South Loop of Chicago, Illinois. Today, I'll be covering with you how to bulletproof your mileage. For our clients that also have the corporate reimbursement plans, I need you to pay attention to this so you'll fully understand how to get your reimbursement for any mileage that you drive for your corporation. If you'll notice, I've started with my Google Calendar. The reason that I have Google Calendar up, we're just going to be looking at Thursday, November 5th, is because I want to show you how I use two systems to track my mileage. I would love to tell you that I'm able to track my mileage daily and that I go in and I record where I went, what I did, what was personal and what was business each day. However, that would not be true because I don't do that. So because I don't do that, I make sure that all of my appointments are always in my Google Calendar. Not only does Google Calendar help me track my mileage, improve where I've traveled, it also helps bring things to my memory because sometimes I will forget, that I have an appointment or something, but if I have everything in Google Calendar, I have notifications set up so I am reminded that I do have an appointment. So if we look here on November 5th, which was Thursday, you can see I had a mobile power of attorney appointment, and this was 5010 on the west side. And then I had another mobile power of attorney where I had to do some power of attorney documents, and that appointment was at 1:30. My first appointment was at 10 a.m. Now, when I put my appointments in my calendar, I always put the address that I'm traveling to as well, so that when I go back and look, if something happened, let's say with my like queue, if my phone uh, was dead and it couldn't track my mileage, then I at least have a starting point because I can say, okay, well, this is the address that I went to on this day at this time. Okay, so now let's go and look at Mile IQ, and we're going to look at my drives. So you see here, we have Friday, November the 6th from Calumet City to home, Lansing to Calumet City, home to Lansing. Now, when you look at it backwards in a way that it's presented, that can be confusing. But here I can see home to Lansing, and then I went from Lansing to Calumet City, and then I went from Calumet City to home. Now, I know that all of these are personal because I went to the gym on Friday. So you can see I left my home, I went to the gym, then I went from the gym probably to the grocery store and then to the grocery store back to home. But now let's go and look at Thursday, November 5th. You'll see there is a lot of driving here. And I don't recall, most of these things actually I do recall, but if this was from a month ago, there's no way I'd be able to recall. So let's go back here from home to Chicago from 10:21 to 11 a.m. Well, if you remember from my Google Calendar, I had a notary signing appointment at 10 a.m., correct? So I'm just going to click here and see, okay, where the heck did I go? I left my home and I was in Chicago at 11 a.m. That was 26 miles. Now, if you'll see here, there's a space for me to add notes. So I'm going to add notes because I recall that this was a mobile power of attorney signing. Now, I know who the client is, so I'm just going to put their initials here because this video will be shared. Obviously, I won't be sharing the full name here, but I know that this was a mobile power of attorney. So that is what business for me. So I'm going to select business, and you can see here it's saving. Now, if I had a corporate reimbursement plan, that would be 26.8 miles one way. So mileage right now is what I think 58 cents per mile. So 58 times 26.8, that's already $15.54. So just say $15.55 that the corporation will have to reimburse me at no cost. Remember, it's deductible to the business, tax-free to me. So I would get that money in my pocket, but I need to have a report. I need to have something where I've actually tracked my mileage, if that makes sense. Okay. And then you can see here now, it looks like there's an issue with my mile IQ, because here again, home to Chicago, 1024 to 1059. Well, that's weird because I couldn't be in two places at one time. And then you'll see here also double track Austin to Avalon Park. Actually, though, I know what happened here because when I left the west side, I had to go on 87th Street. So we're just going to call that business. Actually, that was more medical because I had to get my braces tightened. So that was a medical appointment. All right. So it's actually personal medical. And then I left the orthodontist office and I went to another power of attorney office. So this Austin to Avalon Park, that's not reimbursable because that was a personal issue. Here, Avalon Park to the Chicago line, well, now that's business. So we're going to go and take that business. And this was for, I made these categories a while ago. So that was notary work for me from Avalon Park to Chicago line. Then I left Chicago and I went to South Holland from 113 to 146. That actually was to meet with another client. That was a tax client that I met with. However, the IRS would say, okay, you know, you're just making these things up. What was the tax client's name? So here in the notes on the side, once you click on the option, I will put here, I know what client this was. This was sales tax client. Had to get login information. Now done, and that's going to be saved. Because with the IRS, they not only want to know how many miles you traveled, so where did you start from, where did you go, they want to know if it was for business, and then what was the business reason, correct? All right. And so here again, this is another 18 miles that I would be reimbursed from my corporate reimbursement plan. So that would be additional income in my pocket, and it would be a deduction to the corporation. So here I left South Holland. I went to Calumet City. From Calumet City back and forth to Calumet City. I'm not sure what I was doing, but I know from South Holland to Calumet City, that was back home. That was my last tax client meeting, and that's going to be connected to the previous entry. And so these are personal because you do need to track personal mileage. Oftentimes people will give me, oh, you know, this is my mileage, and you only give me business. I need business and personal mileage because the IRS wants you to track both. Now, just because we're tracking mileage does not mean I don't want you to keep up with your gas, your oil changes, etc. Because there may be an instance where I look at the mileage, you may not have enough mileage to qualify for a nice discount or deduction, I'm sorry, from your taxes, but maybe actual expenses are higher. So don't just assume that because you are using mile IQ that you no longer need to keep up with your gas expenses and oil changes. If you are a client of mine, I've asked you repeatedly to use a business bank account, and that business bank account is where you would get your gas from. So it shouldn't be that difficult for you to be able to track your gas and your mileage. Now, I know whenever I go from Hammond back to home, that's usually for me getting gas. Now, I've had this my IQ for a while, so I don't do Uber or Lyft anymore, but I haven't. So here, just gas fill up for the business. And I want to be as accurate as possible because let's say I was audited and the IRS saw getting gas for Uber and Lyft. Then they would say, oh, you drive Uber, or oh, you drive Lyft. Let us see those records. And now oh, well, I don't drive Uber. I don't drive Lyft. I used to. Some of these IRS revenue agents can be I don't have a really nice word to say. I'll just say that they act as if it's their money. Well, I guess in a way it might be a part of their money because it's all taxpayers' money, but they act as if you're personally taking money out of their pockets. So you need to make sure that you know you have all of your records in order because you don't want to have a revenue agent that's having a bad day and they decide to take everything out on you, or you know they give you any type of problems with your documentation. So again, this is Mile IQ. I always recommend if you have a child over the age of maybe 9 or 10, this is a nice little job that you can give them. If that's a part of your tax planning or your tax reduction plan, then this is easily something that your child can go in and do. And you'll be spending a little bit more time for your child, with your child, I'm sorry, and they will learn how to track expenses for their own business because hopefully you're a little entrepreneur. So if you guys have any questions, please email me at thoward@howardtaxprep.com. Now, also, I want to show you reports before I log off. If my computer will come on. Okay, well, it signed me out, so it's not going to allow me to show you reports, so we'll do that in another video. Thank you for watching and have a great